Hello, welcome to Jessie at Home. In this video we are going to learn how to do the stitch for the Nettie's super simple patterns that are worked in the round. For the video I am using Lion Brand Heartland yarn. Okay, I actually am using this blue. The one that has the ball band on it happens to be red, but I am using the blue. I am also using a 7 or 4.5 millimeter crochet hook. The yarn and the hook that you're using aren't incredibly important. This is just about how to actually make this stitch pattern. So in order to do this stitch, there are several patterns that I have in the Nettie Super Simple line. Some are worked in the round and some are worked in rows. So this tutorial is going to help you with those that are worked in the round because there are several of them. Some of my numbers might be a little different. Don't worry about that. Follow the numbers in your pattern, but the technique is going to be the same. This is a very simple technique. It's suitable for beginners, and that's why I like to make the video for it. So if you are a beginner, you can be sure you're doing everything right. And even if you're not a beginner, you can just double check if you want to. All right, so to begin, I'm going to make a small sample. The first couple patterns that I've made with this stitch in the round are made with a base chain of a multiple of 8 plus 4. So that's what I'm going to use for this. So I'm going to go 8 times 3 is 24, plus 4 more would make 28. So I'm going to start off with a chain of 28. So we get our slip stitch in here, and you chain however many your pattern says. In this case, we're going to go with 28. 1, 2, 3, 2, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Now you are going to join in a ring, being careful not to twist. So when it's something this small, you can just kind of lay it flat and see, oh look, there's my flat, and then I'll go over here and that will join it into a loop without twisting. When it's really long, one of the little tricks I like to do is run my fingers along the flat side and then pull it up and pinch, run my fingers along the flat side, pull it up, pinch the new spot, and keep doing that. And in the end, it'll get me to the very end of the chain without any twists. And then you just from there insert your hook in to make your slip stitch. Okay, so you join it to make a loop. And honestly, to be perfectly honest with you, if you end up catching a loop or two in here as you go around, it won't be a huge deal. You can kind of let the last, because we're skipping 7 stitches at a time, you can let like the last 1 or 2 that you skip have a twist in it if that's the way that it works out. And you know, it wouldn't be the end of the world. Most people probably won't even notice. Alright, so now that you've joined that, the pattern has you chain 7, skip 7, slip stitch into the next stitch. Chain 7, skip 7, slip stitch into the next stitch, and you just do that until you are done. It's, like I said, super simple. So let me show you what that means. We chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is one of the places where your pattern might be different. It might be chain 7, skip 7. It might be chain 5, skip 5. It might be chain 9, skip 9. But just go with whatever your pattern says. In this case, we're doing 7. So we chained 7, we're skipping 7, and then we're going to slip stitch into the next stitch, which would be the 8th one, correct? So this is the stitch we've already slipped into. This is where our join was. We're not counting the stitch that we've already worked into. So here are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the last one we skip is 7, and then there is the stitch that we're going to slip stitch into is our 8th stitch. So now we're just going to slip stitch into that. I went underneath both loops and we're slipping. Chain 7, slip, skip 7, slip into the next. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Skip. Look, this one is the one we've worked into, so that doesn't count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, skip 7, slip into the next. So we go through both loops and then we just yarn over and pull through everything. Again, chain 7, skip 7, slip stitch into the next. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's the one we worked into. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and work into the next one. And now you might notice there's not 7 left. Don't worry, you're going to keep going around in a spiral. Okay, this is the point where some people start to panic because they're like, what do I do now? The same thing you did before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's the one we worked into. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and work into this one. So that's all you have to do. Let me do one more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's what we worked into. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and slip stitch into the next. Oops. There you go. And we are making, you'll notice, we just keep going around in spirals. Alright, so here we have only 2 layers, here we have 3 layers, and we're just going to keep going around and around and around. And that reminds me of a B-52 song. Until you run out of yarn, until you're done. I mean, you could keep going, I could keep going with this one and make one of my girls a bracelet. You know? That's all that you do. When you get to the end, you're actually going to fasten it off at one of the slip stitches, okay? As far as gauge goes for these patterns, gauge is not hugely important. It will obviously affect your finished size. The most important thing here is that your chains are consistent. There aren't some that are small and some that are big. They need to be consistent size, and you need to be able to get your hook into them in order to make your slip stitches. So you can't be pulling them really tightly on the needle, on the hook, or else you'll have a hard time making your slip stitches. So you want your gauge to be consistent. Other than that, obviously, like I said, a bigger gauge will give you a larger item, a smaller gauge will give you a smaller item. But in something like this, my starting chain was a multiple of 8 plus 4. If I wanted it to be bigger, I would add more chains at the beginning in a multiple of 8. If I wanted it to be smaller, I would subtract chains at the beginning in a multiple of 8. That's all it is. Very simple. I hope that makes sense to you and has helped you out if you were at all confused with that one. And enjoy your pattern. Thank you.